No, see, this is on like an upper level. Which must be through her apartment. Like, it's gotta be. To be able to get back up here, right? Oh, this is the pile. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Let's try this again. Failed again. Nice and orderly. Alright. So the pile of Eternite is that door. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try going to knock on her door, seeing if she'll come answer. Because we know she's at least in her apartment area. And she did say at some point we would have to interrogate her, so she was like, that's really gonna suck when you interrogate me. Classier. Come on. Lieutenant gives you a quick glance. Door can only be opened with a key or from the inside. And what about Kim's room? Nothing. Very weird. Oh, you know what we'll do before going to Joyce as well? Let's find the other, let's find that other driver. The lorry driver.
No, man.
Yeah, see,
Caught
nothing.
me at an opportune moment. This awful weather gives me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.
And then we confronted her about this before, but like nothing else is coming up here. The soles of the boots. We could say, please help me out here. It's important. Please. I think you should just let me get back to Gabriel Bengaro. You're no Gabriel. Gabriel doesn't say please. She's wearing sturdy workers' boots made of black leather. Soles also made of leather. Oh, hold on. Just before Gabriel, it was the coronation of Franco Negro. Now there was a real man. There's no aberration in the pattern that you can see. She puts her foot down. Moreover, the boots were size 37 tiny. Too many discrepancies in this. Another discrepancy, although not boot-related, is the coronation of His Innocence Franco Negro, which happened 500 years ago. Yeah, she's not the odd soul. These are not the boots that made the prince. Takes a quick note. I could have told you that from just looking at her. Her size is 37. And the feet of a little girl, they fit well on the pedals. All right, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but we'll talk to Joyce and maybe that's how we'll resolve interrogating these guys. You can see, I just noticed this when you're on like the super wide zoom out. There's like a little line that's along the side of the screen. Okay, come on now. And we also have, if we need to pass more time,
What can I help you with?
we have our case file that we can go through. Listen, I spoke with the lower man at the roundabout. On the contrary, she smiles. There are yet Camineers you have not talked to, and don't look so surprised. In a wild time like this, it would be strange if Wild Pines didn't have eyes on the harbor. Oh, so okay. So apparently we have not talked to everyone. Must have been someone in the overlook position near the gates. All right, visual calculus, thanks. I suggest you go back and canvass for more suspects. Yeah, okay, actually. Let's go and do that straight up. Just so it's clean and we can avoid more backtracking. And then I don't want our time to pass too far. If we go through all the other options and then the lorryman might leave or something. I'd rather get that information out instead of this reality. But who knows, that could also be pretty crazy. It's true, we haven't really come over here very much. This is the only guy that seemingly we can talk to. Unless... in here? No. Let's see. I think this lorry belongs to our tough guy. Okay, well, maybe. Maybe then.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Well, what is a strike? It's when a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. And what do the strikers want? Beats me, they mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work. There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seems ill-fitting. Ill-fitting? What does that mean? His shirt's far too small and unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls held up by a belt seem to fit a man with much more corpulence? You wearing new clothes? He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. Those are obviously not his. Silence is the right answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. Huh. What the actual F? So, if we need to interrogate the drivers, she's saying that one would be near the overhang. He's not talking. Unless... I don't think Measurehead's gonna be it.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Hold on.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Hey, that weasel I visited, turns out he has one hell of a colonial mug collection. Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole. So, how we're all busy concentrating on the racist mugs? That's what the ruling class wants. Yeah, it would be really bad if we got into an argument about the waste of good noon or afternoon or night. Anyway, thanks for helping, friend. All right. I'm not seeing anyone else we can talk to out here. So, I'm not sure. We'll head back to her and we'll talk about the other stuff and go from there. I think I lost Kim.
You're back. Good.
So I'm gonna say the lorryman thing again because I want to get a clearer thing. Unless there's someone in an overlook position near the gates. So maybe it is Manana. Or maybe it's Measurehead. Because I'm that lorry cart that we look at that says it's closed, maybe it belongs to the big guy. I thought maybe the big guy on ground level, but maybe it is the other guy. Hey, by the way, I've talked to Everett Claire about a few things. Oh, you have? And how did you like Mr. Claire? Well, let's see. Do we have a way to say, like... I can do business with him for a socialist. He's reasonable. Hero of the workers' movement. Beautiful man. Beautiful and just. I wish to swear fealty to you in the cause of the capital. How did you like him? Well, that's a tough one to answer, honestly. He is, I can do business with him, I guess. For a socialist, he's reasonable. Baddest hustler in the neoliberal neighborhood. Getting all these achievements all of a sudden. Of course, he must have his practical uses. How else could he have kept his position all these years? Wait, actually, he could have kept it with corruption. Fantastic worm-like corruption that reaches into the bowels of the earth. She looks at the ground and nods in agreement with herself. The RCM does not depict sides in this, madam. I hope it doesn't come off any other way. Speaking of Kim, I think he's gone. Oh, of course, and I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I am not a corrupt worm myself. She turns to you. However, if you felt like discussing something, oh, could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping. Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Well, listen. With that money that you gave me, would that make things weird if I shared information, I mean? Weird? Oh no. One of the positive things to come from a revolution is unhindered exchange of information. You see, even when it comes to trade secrets, which isn't to suggest our talks constitute corporate espionage. Even if they did, it would be fine, but they don't, since you logged the money as a donation, and this is clearly just gossip between friends. Lieutenant might have, but I don't remember you logging anything as anything, Harry. Well, he did say that he's helping me find my gun. Oh, that's so helpful of him. The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting. Oh, it's incredible. Simply incredible. How is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Well, no, but Mr. Everett says it's almost ready to be found soon. Oh, did he now? Well, then it should be any day now. Unless, of course, he's lying to you. Anyway, was there anything else you've heard? Perhaps he is. Well, he did ask me to open this door. Oh, a referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM? She waves her hand. Don't answer that. Well, no, I mean like a real door, like to someone's house. Oh my, a real door? Lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you. Yeah, I mean, it had to be done. I got information, it was useful to the case. That's good to hear, Detective. Police work is rarely pretty, but it sounds like you did what you had to do. Her bartering mind cannot fathom that you didn't ask for anything in return. Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal, and it was not for nothing. He turns to you. I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight. He's right. Yeah, that's pretty much everything, actually. Naturally, Detective, there are lighter topics to gossip about. I think I'm gonna keep it to ourselves. Of course, should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Is there anything else I can help you with? Yeah, I got questions about reality. Here we go. More lessons in basic reality. My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything. Well, what is, and then RCM can access the ICP database. This is esprit de corps and conceptualization. Hold on. Let's see what we're wearing. Jacket-wise, conceptualization. So that's one of the checks that was really high. So I think we'll go here.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Yeah, not bad. Okay, so I got a question, Joy. What times are these? Oh, these are... Puts her finger to her lips and points to you. You and I were born after the dust had settled thousandths of a second too late. Too late for what? Or the big time, her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. Well, what's the big time? The revolution, she says. What is this revolution I keep hearing about? It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfluffle. So we've learned a little bit about this revolution. Oh, here. Would you say it was like a bunch of apes duking it out? Oh, why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central, full swing interspecies warfare. And the apes, were they evil? No, I would say the apes were neutral. She looks at you, her gaze sharp. So they're good apes, actually. I don't know about that. She turns north to the bombed-out buildings lining the waterfront, then shivers slightly. Okay, so enough about the times. They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyways, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Yeah. Think of something close to us. Come on. Nice. 6 kilometers southwest in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog, licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner, Emile Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, finger on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emile." He pulls on it slowly now. "He'll find it again. We always do." What am I? You are an officer of the RCM. The Revachol Citizens Militia. Precisamundo. Good, and what is the Revachol Citizens Militia? Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective. Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia. He's being sarcastic. Yeah, we know this. Yeah, you said de facto. Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. Well, what do you mean exactly? The RCM's responsibilities are defined by Emergency, Wayfarer, and Ailment Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis to the benefit of the foreign capital. All 3 look good to know. So, Lieutenant looks up from his notes when we're out policing. Yeah, so I'm basically one of the good guys. Oh, there's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. She leans in. Yet, on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, why they are not fans of you. Oh, why? The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They call it the international zone, because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed, a true blue citizens' initiative, she smiles. They will never forgive you. That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial agreement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude. Please continue. Yes, Lieutenant, permit me to conclude this with who you are to me is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. Yeah, well, thank you, ma'am. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I am here to help. All right, and what are you exactly? What I am not is a basic term of reality. There has to be a way to get her speaking about herself at some later juncture. Everyone wants to talk about themselves. She will in time. All right, and what is this? A bird? A sphenicid, flightless bird of the polar regions. Keep guessing. Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin, a symbol of hubris and decay, half submerged in some salty sea. Wait, are you saying I'm ruined? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. No, I meant like, what is this place here? This is the pier of Rue Saint-Guilain 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot or 2. What is Rue de Saint-Guilain 33A? A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, as you see, and new buildings bâtiments, after les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux, they're old. She looks up at the crumbling facade. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall, a real high-rise by the standards of the last century, built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay and the delta. This was before the war, of course. Well, who lived in them then? Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was one primo real estate before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Cindy's chipping in. Whoa. Splat, splat! From a dilapidated balcony, Cindy, the skull, gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat. Wonderful. And what is that exactly? Pointing to Cindy. Oh, the girl in the old lady rags? Yeah. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. What the hell's an infraculture? Yes, you and I belong to the superculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It's an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the superculture. Oh, okay, now explain the same thing, but like to a child. Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right, what's next? I get it. Suddenly you're not so sure you're part of the superculture. Yeah, I don't know. I think I may be part of an infraculture, actually. Her eyes go around with surprise. And what would that be? Well, disco, obviously. Huh, I could see that. Yes, I dabbled in those dark arts myself not so long ago. I assure you it was a thoroughly supercultural phenomenon, all permeating, downright mandatory. Nothing infra about disco, baby. Wait, so you're telling me you're disco? Oh, those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl. Disco was a minor, but still enjoyable facet of the whole thing for me. The new, a cultural era, the time of the decade, the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary Revachol, and it was ultra-liberal. It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now, she raises her eyebrow at you. Oh, champagne, that doesn't sound like anything I'd be into. That's not true. Yeah, that actually sounds fun. I can't remember a single thing, though. Wasn't it Guillaume Le Mignon who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there? For some reason, your mind is a veritable repository of Guillaume Le Mignon lyrics, trivia, and B-sides. But the time to explore this when you're alone, facing a mirror perhaps. Right now, it would derail the reality lowdown. All right, and let's go here. Conceptualization, jamais vu, thought complete. So the only way we fail is double ones. Reach for something fundamental. What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air. What world is this? What world? The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea. The only one, I suppose. The world of matter and its pale antipode. The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water. Now, what do you see? Great bodies of water, forest-covered surfaces, cloisters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage, we all have. This is enough. A frisson lifts the air on the back of your arm. The hair on the back of your arm. Wind sweeps the surface of the bay. Now the wind is sweeping the waters. The world is suzerainty of Revachol. There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century when humanity was high on the world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included. Well, what is it? Elysium. Oh, really? Oh, cool. That's what they refer, like, we heard earlier Elysium kind of refers to everything, so she's confirming that. That's cool. Wait, is this the one with the evil apes? Not in this case, no. That sounds more like something the Mesk petrofascist might say. Her gaze wanders. Or wanders. The Confederate Republic of Mesk, the world's largest state by territory, has fallen into an especially nihilistic strain of nationalism lately. Her eyes return to you. It isn't even enough to call us animals, but even animals aren't animals. Well, what do you mean? What are animals then? Oh, they're like you and I suppose. Living organisms don't identify with abstractions. Elysium is for particular beings. Elysium. A world needs a term of endearment. It does. There are those who would call it hell. Oh, what is hell? A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petrofascists. I don't feel like I got the whole picture just yet. Oh, you want a picture of the world? She raises her fingers to her lips. There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having a little bit of trouble reaching orbit. Well, how come? Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways. How about it's a ball? They're looking less and less likely, Detective. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s. The ORG, Occidental Revachol. Got it. There's a steady increasing trickle of images. Between the big three, they're piercing together a dark gray corona. A dark gray corona? Yes, she pauses. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are gray flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago. A cold fear seeps into you. Oh my god, wait, what the hell are you telling me? You seem to be spooked, please don't be. She lets a moment pass. The pale, what do you mean, corona? Wow, this is on point. They say there's a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet, or to speak more plainly, imagine vast swaths of land disrupted by nothingness. She must be stoned. I'm sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the great questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it might sound. Oh, fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together. You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's very, very disco. You'd love it. Well, okay. Well, if you say it's disco, I would love it. See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities. The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly you're conscious of yourself standing there on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both silently and he adjusts his glasses. Yeah, you said pale. What is pale? The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality. Yes, Lieutenant looks at his watch. Also, I think I've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to. Of course. Let's try something else. No, I don't want to. I want to know what the pale is. I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He already has been so patient with this whole exercise. Talk to Joyce about the pale without Kim. Okay. Let's continue with something else, all right? You can ask about anything else in the world. Anything. This is not going to happen with Lieutenant President unless you can convince him to step aside. Oh, we could try this. Nice. Yeah, good idea. Just ask him. We won't make a scene. Kim, can I talk to the man alone for a second? He's gone anyways. I don't know where he is. Fine. He steps away. See? What can you do? You're a grown man. Now, what is the pale? Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant. Yes, yeah, what is the pale? Okay, the pale is the most dominant geological feature in the world. Detective, the separate tissue between the isolas is the intersolar mass. Okay, and what does the pale lack? Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The pale is the enemy of matter and life. It's not like any other or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness. So it's kind of like she's describing it as like a purgatory almost. We talked about hell. So between like here and hell, like some theoretical purgatory maybe. The negation of being. Yeah, it's like a nothingness. Yeah, like the negation of... That's right. She tightens her hood around her neck. It's cold outside. And is it here? Is a pale here? No, Detective, we're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You're in the middle of the isola. Your gaze instinctively turns north. A small black pit opens up in your stomach. Wait, 6,000 kilometers from the end of the world? Yes, that is enough. Many cities are built much closer. And, there? An uproar of matter, darling, rising into the pale, rolling, evaporating, even a great vision. The area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a gray coronal mist, cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of unrest. It's the most disco thing you'll ever see. Okay. How much pale is there compared to the world? Well, the pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There's more pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping. Slipping how? To our detriment, or what do you think, Detective? Well, sounds like it's grown. There's more and more of the pale. Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the pale will cover everything, but this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. So that other lorry driver, I'm just thinking, was Pale something, and I'm wondering if this information could help us. Talk is mostly left to extremists. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's extreme at all. Seems like it's probably going to happen. Most people, and indeed most private and governmental sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same. Off we go. You see the hangman's mouth open. Off we're going to the wild pale yonder. One and all, they say pale is death, but for the universe. Why should we just leave and leave? And the world gets left behind. All right, well, I think I kind of got it. Let's return to reality, please. Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything? Well, listen, I'm getting a sense of who I am, but no, I didn't know this exactly. Holy crap. I'm beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the pale? Well, I don't look at it as political. We could look at it as disco, as like the afterlife is kind of like something that everybody loves. And that we love specifically. I gotta say, I think you were right. I think it's disco. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face. You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't even know this, then... She stops mid-sentence. Well... look, I promise you this, ma'am. The investigation will be my masterpiece and the one they remember me by. I promise. I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he's very competent. In the meanwhile, you have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time. She gives you a slight bow. Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work? No, right. Let's get to work there, Lieutenant. Good luck, detectives. She nods you goodbye. Okay. So we got the lowdown from her. Where is it? Going somewhere. We have some of these to go through. Oh, the mirror check came up now. Yeah, she did say something, or maybe it was Kim even who said you should look at this yourself. Do we have anything about the lowdown from her? Get a reality lowdown. Keep asking or return later. Should be here whenever you need info.
You're back. Good.
More questions about reality. We can ask about the RCM again. See if there's anything new here. He's being sarcastic. Yes, we are. You said de facto, so it's the same thing. Huh. Okay. And the lorrymen overlook position near the gates. So it's either Manana or Measurehead.
Only warm primordial blackness. Your conscious ferments in it. No larger than a single grain of malt. You don't have to do anything anymore. Ever. Never, ever.